video is for note-taking for screencasts and video lectures. So for this particular unit, what I want you guys to do is practice applying the double entry journal format that you learned about in the Curious Writer. Alright, attached to your email you'll find a copy of this document. It's the double entry journal template. I'd like you to use this format to take notes for the video lectures and screencasts that I post for our study of Inferno. This particular document contains 2 pages, which I'll go over briefly. The first is a word-for-word description from page 73 of the Curious Writer that talks about what the double entry journal is, and you had a little bit of practice using this format in the chapter 2 exercises that you did. The second page contains the note-taking template, which has been modified for the lecture. If you'd like to use it, simply copy and paste to a new Word document, or if you'd rather handwrite your notes for the lecture, print it out or have the document open as you're writing your notes and thoughts down so that you can reference it. As you can see, this is basically a version of Cornell Notes, but it utilizes the dialectical strategies, meaning the back and forth strategies that Ballinger mentions. So it's a way for you to engage with the lecture without being a passive recipient of information. Right, so a couple of things that I want to call your attention to here. The format of your double entry journal should have the title and date at the top, so whatever video lecture or screencast that you're watching, just so you can reference it. And then you are using a left hand and a right hand side. So on the left hand side has your lecture notes. So this would be the collecting part, what the source says, mainly the lecture or whatever information I call out to be important. And then on the right hand side, it's your responses, reactions, analysis, and questions. So it's things that first come to your mind whenever you're rereading your notes. So Ballinger recommends that you can play the believing game or the doubting game, question things, you can shift to other perspectives. You can also list questions that you have about the particular slide or canto or circle that I'm referencing. So down here I have an example. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about in the lecture, and you'll see, is the Middle Ages. So you can see here on the left hand side I have a bunch of different notes on the Middle Ages. And then the right hand side are just some typical questions and or comments that students usually have. So on the right hand side you see here I put, I finally know why the Middle Ages were given their name. Is it the same thing as the medieval period? And then that makes me think of, what does medieval mean and why is it called that? So part of the ownership is on you. If you really want to know that, you can go look it up, or we can talk about it in class. And I have a couple other questions here. This big one, why is spirituality important to humans? So that's one of our big overarching questions. So when you're using your own dialectical journal, you can delete these descriptions and just go ahead and have your notes on the left and then your thoughts, responses, reactions on the right. So the second thing I'm going to mention is that the note checks are going to be for credit. So after you watch the lecture for the evening, either bring an electronic or a printed copy or a handwritten copy to class, and you'll either receive credit or no credit for doing it. So I'm going to go around and check as you guys are doing the in-class activity whether or not you did the homework for the night. So this will hopefully keep you on track as far as watching the videos are concerned and actively participating in the note-taking process.